Hi, and thanks for watching the channel. I am going to be posting a video that was recorded earlier in a Facebook Live group. So you're going to be hearing some comments that I'm making or reading and some names, and just to let you know that that's where that's coming from. I am an admin in a Facebook group that is over 6,000 members, and we are also doing some other things on YouTube. And one of the things that I'm going to be doing, I'm so excited about, is I'm going to be doing a YouTube live stream probably a week from now. But for all of you subscribers, I wanted to have a chance to maybe have a little more real-time interaction. So just to answer any questions that you may have. But I really appreciate it. So without any further ado, here's the video from the Facebook channel. Enjoy. So tonight, I wanted to be a little bit more serious, a little bit more, relaxed, so we can talk about things. I want to be more interactive. I'm not usually like that, usually because I'm driving or I'm so into what I'm doing, maybe making faces, that I don't get a chance to read what you guys are up to. So, yeah, that was a fun intro, wasn't it? So tonight I wanted to talk about truth and narcissists and how they relate and how we relate to it. I've been searching and listening to YouTube videos all day on this, did some work, but it's really just, it's boggling. Like the more I research, the more I realize I don't know as much as I thought I did. So, but hello Melanie, hello Jenny, and hello Millette. I think that's how you say your name. So yeah, I want to make this more interactive. So let's talk about truth a little bit. So I'm reading, now I'm paying more attention to what Facebook is telling me for the notifications. It says the number of people watching this video is increasing to 10. Now it's 13, so we're really jumping up here. So it's Saturday night for me. It's about 7:19 here on Saturday. And this is what I look forward to all evening, actually. Because when I'm getting things out to you, it's helping me learn too. So there's always something in it for us. Even if we don't think it's in it for us, there's always something in it for us, right? Even when we're putting ourselves second for the narc, we're doing it because there's a better reason for us to do it. At least that's what we've been trained and everything. So that's another subject. But I wanted to talk about truth. So I watched a couple of videos about it. Sam Vaknin just had one that came out last night, I think. And then Annie Minnie Hall, I think is her name. She had another one, and I can post those here a little bit later. But the thing with truth for them is that they don't have a stable sense of truth like you and I do. And I was trying to think of some examples to kind of show how their truth works. Now, with a narcissist, their truth works from their emotions. They have no sense of truth that you and I would understand truth to be, which is something static, something which is set in place. Theirs is more based on their emotions and how they feel at the moment. So this is an example that I wanted to come up with. So let me explain a little bit about, there's a saying called, and this was coined by a psychologist, actually a philosopher back about 70 years ago. I don't know the name, but it's been all over the place as far as what this saying is. And the saying is, the map is not the territory. Now what that means is that when we look at a map, say I've got a map here of my town. This map is not the territory. The territory is all the trees, all the streets, all the little drains on the street, all the blades of grass. Okay, my map is not that detailed. So what a map is a representation of the territory. Okay, so when we shrink the map, so when we take the territory and we try to extrapolate out the information that we need, we create a map, and we do that with our mind too, right? We can't hold all of the information in around us, so we create a map which is a representation of the territory. It represents the truth to us. Now the truth is somewhere out there, okay? And what happens is and this isn't really applying to the narcissist or us, it applies to everyone in general, but we all have constructs. We all construct a representation of the truth. We do it with a map. We map out our reality, and that changes over time. As we learn more information, it fits into the map a little bit different. We take out some old things and put in some new things. Out, new, and out. Okay, you kind of get what I'm going at. So we all do that. That's something we all do. The narcissist knows this almost like second nature, that's how things work. And the best way I can explain it, I've been thinking about this all day, the best way I can explain it is there's two different types of truth. There's an analog and a digital, okay? And I'm going to explain it like this. For those of you who are old enough to remember photo albums, I mean, they're still around for the most part, but Kodak made a lot of money when we take them to the Photoshop, the little photomat, and we developed that roll of film. And we used to get those pictures back, and pictures that we would put in a like a binder, like a photo album. All right. And the photo album would be big and heavy. It was like, that was the truth. That was the truth to us. That was our life in pictures. Those were moments. And you could even go so far as a scrapbook, but that, I'm just going to keep it to the photo album just to make it simple. So a photo album has these static pictures, and static means the picture's taken once, and it's usually of us. And because those pictures cost, gosh, they cost like, I think about 25 cents a piece to be developed, and this was back in the 80s when we were doing it. So when you took a picture, you made sure you got a good picture. You didn't have a digital camera where you could take 50 snapshots or take a video and take the frame you want out of that. No, you had to make sure you took a good picture, and you'd be all set when we used to get the pictures back, and some of them would be blurry and stuff, and it'd be like, oh man, I wasted all that money on a bunch of pictures, or there would be like a finger over the lens or something, and you paid for it. You still paid for that picture. This is talking about photos that go inside of a photo album. So that's the type of things that we do. We are, for this example, this analogy, our photo album is our truth. So we have this photo album, we get these photos developed, we take these pictures. Here's a snapshot of my life right now. Here's a snapshot of this. We get those pictures developed, we spend money, it takes money to get those developed, and then we have those pictures, and those pictures don't change, okay? They are the pictures. It's it's an actual, I don't have an actual picture here. Say this was the actual picture right here. Oh, it's a picture of, so I take this picture, it's me and me and my friend or whatever when I was 6. That picture goes in here. It goes in the photo album. So that goes in the map, that goes in the journal, that goes in the representation of the truth, okay? So this photo album has static pictures in it. Static means they don't change. Now, technically over time they would fade or whatever, but that's, because of the chemicals in the paper or whatever. But for the most part, just if you can run with me on this, it's a photo album, it's a representation of our life, and we take different snapshots. We have a camera. We don't take a bazillion snapshots. We have different snapshots. And so that's how we act it out. So when we think of something, we think of when somebody asks us, well, where were you, 10 years ago in your life? You can go into your photo album. You can say, oh, I was here at the university. This is me in a class with 20 other students, and we're here, studying biology, okay? Things like that, okay? This is a big photo album because this is your brain, okay? But this is kind of how it works. It's you've got things you can go back there and look, okay? Now, that's for normal people. That's for normal constructs. A narcissist, on the other hand, they have a digital photo album. Now, remember I said you had an analog one. When I mean analog, I mean an actual physical, old-time pictures developed, static, can't change. You put them in the photo album, you tape them in, or you put those little, it's like a sheet of plastic that goes over it and holds the photos in until you take them out. You pull the plastic back, you put it in or whatever. So the narcissist has a digital photo album. Now, a digital photo album is a lot more versatile. A digital photo album can take a gazillion pictures, okay, until it gets the one it wants and gets the perfect one. But the main thing about a digital photo album is that there's no commitment to the picture. It's, you know, you could take one here, you could take one there, or what the narcissist has with the digital one is they have something called Photoshop. Now, a narcissist can Photoshop other pictures that aren't part of the original scene and put it into the picture, okay? Because they understand, everybody understands, but the narcissist understands this better, that the map is not the territory. So if they can change your map, if they can get you to buy the map that they have set out in front of you, then they can live their illusion. And that goes into this. So think about it. And with a digital photo album, like a Facebook page, okay? If you can imagine it that way, it's like a Facebook page. And they can put anything on it that they want, that they can fit in there, and they can Photoshop things, and they can change things around, and they can completely delete all the photos if it doesn't match up to their new supply. So they become what people want them to become so that they can be effective in their manipulation. So that is their truth. So the truth to them is not static, it's always changing, it's dynamic, it's not set in stone, okay? Now again, over time, with our old time photo album, the truth will change, you know, but the truth won't really change, but we'll add things to it, right? Now I remember when I was growing up, we had a photo album that was like this thick, and it was full of this many pictures, so we still had room for this. And we would add things to the photo album. We wouldn't necessarily take the old pictures out, cut them in half and put some new people with them, and no, we didn't do that. These were pictures, these were set in stone. This was kind of, we still had the negatives and everything. There's a proof, okay? This is what happened. This is the real deal. And so with a narcissist, though, with the digital photo album or a Facebook page, if you want to think of it that way, think of a tablet and then think of a Facebook page, and they can fill anything they want on it, and they can constantly change it because they can just change it. I mean, the photos can be changed, and the photos can be photoshopped. So imagine this: a narcissist has a, they're say they're married, and say they're married, and they want to be more attractive to other people. So what they'll do is, when they leave the house, they'll have another photo album that they'll change. They'll have a digital photo album, and they'll be able to replace the pictures in it with exactly how they want it to look. They can leave out things, lying by omission. They can add things in. Those are like deceitful lies. Or they can use assumptive things, like they can put a picture of themselves in front of a mountain. Now, it may be the ski mountain down the street that's only 60 feet tall, but then they can put a caption under there that said, love Mount Kilimanjaro. And you would assume, oh, they're in front of a mountain and there's a thing that says Mount Kilimanjaro. That means that they were at Mount Kilimanjaro. I mean, that's kind of how it works, right? There's these assumptions that they're going to play off of the people that are looking at their photo album or their Facebook page. That's how their truth and reality works. It's more of a portable truth. In other words, my truth is over here, okay? If I walk away from my truth for a minute, it's over there. It's not going to change. It's like my truth is part of my wall, okay? This wall here, there's a wall beside me. It stays there, okay? It doesn't move. The narcissist truth is like it's like a backpack. They just load it up on them and they take it wherever they want to. They can take it over here, they can take it over there. And the reason they can do this is because they've learned this at such an early age on how to, it's a defense mechanism, obviously. They create that false self. The false self is completely all lies, okay? So they've been lying to themselves, and they get really good at it. And the older they get, the more mature they get, the better they get at lying, okay? So you know how you and I were always afraid we're going to get caught, okay? That's because when we get caught, we don't have the skills to get out of it, because that's never something we thought was a good thing, right? Oh, I'm going to go to school and develop lying skills. Okay, I'm going to develop how to lie. No, we don't. That's not something we think about. And it's not something the narcissist thinks about either, because to them, that's how the world really works. But what they do is they have so many skills, so many tools in their toolbox, so many instances and examples of how they said a lie and it worked, and then they locked that in, and then they tried it again and it didn't work, so they got rid of the way of doing that. So they use something called plausible deniability. And that's where and I was even suggesting this to people when you're trying to get rid of a narc, or you're trying to break off contact. What you want to do with them is you want to use their techniques against them. Okay, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. I was gonna do something more, talk about this one thing. So basically, with the narcissist, they use something called plausible deniability. And what plausible deniability is, first of all, let me talk about how they have to get one over on us. That's part of their power. That's part of the power that they need. And remember, they don't have like all this warmth and love and all these other things that keep them full of just, you know, keep them satisfied. Sorry, I'm trying to think here. So what they do is they need to play. They need to like do like a cat and a mouse, you know. They need to play games. So what they like to do is they like to see the first construct of their lie. I call it the lie cycle, okay? And I'm going to probably do a video just on this. Instead of a life cycle, you have the lie cycle. So the first part of the lie cycle, I haven't developed all the parts, but the first part I know is testing the boundaries of the target. Okay, so what a narcissist does is they will test, and they will see how far you will go before you crack, and then they pull back. Okay, crack, and then you pull back, crack back. I made a rhyme. So that's the first thing that they do. So once they have figured out, like once they have mapped you, speaking of maps, they will then they will be able to drop in some assumptive lies, some lies by omission, and basically all they're trying to do is get one over on you. If they think that they can fool you and that you believe what they say, and they can use plausible deniability, meaning that it sounds good on the surface so it can be taken two ways, because they can always deny, that's not what I meant. See, that's how they work. And it's so fun for them. This is like what they get off on. This is what makes them happy, is to be able to fool people around them. Because again, they're always fooling people around them, because that's what they've been doing since they were 5 or 12 or whatever, when they really started piling on that false self. So if that's what they do, is trying to fool you, trying to get one up on you, you need to do that kind of with them if you want to get out of a situation with them. So one example. So somebody was meeting with their divorce attorney, and the thing with a narcissist is, because they keep testing the boundaries, they've got you all mapped out. Like they have you like in this little box, okay? Like they figured out you're going to be in here. Well, what happens when you start going off and doing things in secret, and then you go to the attorney or whatever, you're actually kind of outside the box. You're up here. And then what you want to do is you want to hit them really hard with everything you got on the day you discard them. Okay? They won't see it coming. You'll be outside the box, and hopefully it creates such a large wound. You want to create such a large wound that they'll go away. Now, if they're violent or something, I don't know how to help on that. That's not an area. I'm just talking about ones that you just want to get them away, but you want to, basically you want to dump everything out at once. It's like you want to release all the nukes all at once. All right, and I know you're not that type of person. You don't want to hurt anybody. I'm just talking about, you just want to let them emotionally know you need to send a signal that this is done. You know, I'm not, you know, because if they don't calculate that you're like all over here, they think that they have you in here, but if you're out here, that will mess up their world big time. And that's what you want. You want them to know that this ain't going to happen anymore. And of course, later on, they may hoover back and try to get you back in this little box here. I guess it's a box. It's circle box, whatever. So some of the other things. So the lie cycle. So the first part of the lie cycle is testing your boundaries. The second part is using the tools on you to try to get you to behave, to test their manipulation powers, you know, if they can fool you. because fooling you is still manipulating you. I saw something that was really cool. A lie is a concealed truth. So they try to conceal the truth, which we know as the truth. And if they can conceal the truth from you, that's another way that they can manipulate you, and they have one up on you. So it's weird to think that people actually think like this and actually enjoy it. So that's kind of where I was going with the lies. The map is not the territory. We have representations of the truth. There's a lot of societal things that I was woken up on about 3 years ago that really mess with my head a lot. And but I found out a lot of things that I don't know if I was supposed to find out, but it's really opened my eyes a lot. I don't watch TV anymore. That's how incredible it is. That it's just like I don't really believe that much on TV. There's a lot of deception on TV, and on TV they manipulate you. You realize that, right? They want you to buy the whatever on the commercial. They do product placements in ads, okay? And so, but that's another topic. That's probably another channel, okay? If I ever set up another channel on that. So, all right, I'm going to put on my glasses here, and I'm going to read your comments and interact with the audience, because it's not something I'm good at yet. So I'm going to do that. So let's see. 50 comments so far. Oh, Facebook's telling me all these little things. Thanks for all the likes, guys. Yes, all sociopaths and psychopaths are narcissists, but not all narcs are sociopaths and psychopaths. Yes, you know, a lot of the things I was talking about, the motivation behind them, a narcissist is just trying to survive, okay? That's how they have this shame that creeps up. And so they have to lie and deceive to get rid of that shame. So that goes back down. A psychopath actually enjoys it. They enjoy the manipulation. They just like it, you know, makes them feel super powerful. Where a narcissist, yeah, they're feeling powerful, but they're doing it more, from what I've read, for the relief. You know, it's like they have this itch and they gotta scratch it. Where a psychopath is just like, yeah, this is really fun. Disordered personalities. If they're violent, make sure they don't. Yes. Yeah, see, if they're violent, you need to do a lot of planning. You need to work with a DV shelter or somebody, maybe a brother or a good friend at work, a coworker, maybe some law enforcement. You want to get a plan set up to where you just cut it off like big time. All right. And a lot of times that'll be enough that they'll go away, especially if you're in hiding. But that's the violent stuff. I just say, all I can say on that is you really just want to get a plan. You want to get a plan together with a DV shelter, maybe talk to an attorney. An attorney one who's done this before. I know some that have done this in our area, and they can get you set up with the right people because they've done it before. They know how bad this gets. So, how do you know that they are violent? Well, this is what Dana has said on her videos, and correct me, anyone, if I'm wrong, but what Dana says is if they've ramped up in the last few months or a year where they've either maybe abused a cat or a dog or a pet, and if they've done anything with property, like they punched a hole in the wall, that's usually an escalation, okay? So that could be, and there's a good chance that if they get in too much of a rage, that they will be violent on you, the person, the target. So, so that's what I would say on that, is to make sure that, I'm sorry, I'm getting distractions here. So yeah, so that's kind of where that goes. So yeah, so they're so that's an escalation, and just be very careful about that. Careful planning. That's what I would say on that. Yeah, they're destroying your. Yeah, they're destroying by proxy. You know, they're not destroying you, but they're showing you hey, if I can do this to the wall, look what I can do to your face. You know, that's kind of what that does. So that does show some, if they show any type of violence like that. And I've even heard of some of the guys that are never violent, them suddenly turning violent when they realize they're losing control. Especially if there's drinking or drugs involved. That adds even more fuel to the fire. So yeah, that'd be one to watch there. Very careful. If they're hitting within 2 feet of you, they're conditioning you and will become violent in the near future. Yeah, I totally believe that. My ex would never kick a cat. She loves animals. Much like Hitler loves animals but hates humans. Yeah, they're I never had the violent one in where I was, but I've seen a lot on here, and it does happen. So you just got to take very good precautions. So yeah, the language escalates too, right? If you can see a pattern where it escalates, that's where I would say you really got to be careful. And then the other way too is if they're out and you're not interacting with them, say they're out doing whatever, and then you decide to break it off, and you've got the opportunity because they're gone. You know, you want to make sure that they're gone when you leave. Okay, so they see you like taking stuff out of the house and moving out, and then you want to have a few days where they can cool off, because they're very emotional creatures. Remember, they don't have the regulation, they don't have the higher brain level to process these emotions like we can. Okay, they have to act it out, or otherwise, you know, they just I got to act it out now. We can think of it in terms of, okay, well, how does that make me feel? How does it do this? We can channel it. We have places to put these emotions into because we have higher brain functions. They don't. So, you know, it's got to come out somewhere. Oh yeah, the threats, like, you know, some of them are just like talk though. They're talking, they're using words to try to get you under their control. But, you know, they're so unpredictable. It's better to take precautions, you know, if you do decide to leave them. No contact, you know, that's probably the best thing to do. I know that's the same, in the same boat as you know, once you moved out, you know, you've got orders of protection you can do. You can call the police. You can just drive to the police station one day if you know they're following you, and just go in and maybe grab a cup of coffee, or, you know, talk to an officer. Say, hey, what do I do if I got this, you know, ex is following me, you know? And just by the fact that you're going to the police station and they get that, the narcissist, the ones that are kind of cowardly will kind of like, you know, they'll stop for at least for a little while. And you can send them a nice letter, not a nice letter, but to say, you know, you can draft a letter together, and maybe get one of these online attorneys, you know, to draft it, so it comes from like a law office, something official. You know, there's these prepaid legal things. I've got one with Legal Shield. A friend of mine got me into it. It's like $20 a month, but you can get letters drafted, that kind of stuff. You know, that kind of stuff. So I didn't use them for my divorce, but I got a speeding ticket, and I was like, well, you know, I might as well get it because they take care of all those. And it's really cool. It's an app, and you can snap the picture of the ticket, and they process it. So you still got to pay it, but they do a lot of the stuff for you. So anyways, there's all kinds of technology out there, you know, and you can get a lot of advice on these groups, but you have to be careful that you're getting advice from somebody that really has been through this before, that knows what they're doing. And that's all I can say about that. But you can get a lot of initial advice. You know, if you see a pattern, if you see somebody that's already done this, see, a lot of people stick around here after they've gone through it, when there's hope, and they give hope to others because they show them, like, look, I did this, I got out of it, and you can too, you know. That's what a support group is all about, I think. Oh, wow, your ex is a narcissist, your mother's a narcissist. Disappeared hundreds of miles away. His punishment to me for divorcing him was to leave me, bring our children on my own. Well, you know what? Your children are going to turn out better You know, a lot of people wish that their ex wasn't involved in their children's lives. So look at that as a blessing. Yeah, he turns up with his new wife, but trust me, you're better off that he wasn't there. You're so much better off. Oh, I'm sorry you had to leave your home. Oh, you had to leave? Well, yeah, because a narcissist probably prepped the new wife. See, they calculate things, right? They think about 16 moves ahead, like a chess game, because they're not thinking about the empathy. They're not thinking about what would that person like, or did I hurt that person's feelings, or how does that person feel? That's not how they think. They think in terms of black and white, you know, good or bad. It's called split thinking, and they think in terms of like a calculating robot. They're constantly figuring out, what if I do this, if I say this to this person, what moves, or if I do this based on my past history, based on the experiments I've done in the past with people, because, you know, we're just all toys and pawns to them. Based on those, if I do this, then this person will go over here. Let's see if I'm right. I'm going to call this person up and you know, create havoc. You know, then the narc hangs up the phone. He's like, yeah, that should work. And then it works, you know. Then the mom is complaining to the daughter, and then, you know, they just do things just because it's like they're bored, you know. They can't experience life the same way we can. Our life is in color. Theirs is in black and white, literally and figuratively. Like they don't have all the rich feelings of deep love and the goosebumps that you get around people when you really connect with them, you know. They don't have that. So they got to make it up. They got to make it up somehow. They got to kind of fit in. You know, imagine going to a country and you don't speak the language, but everybody else walks around and they do this on their head with a box, and then they kiss each other. And then they kiss each other. Okay, what are you going to do? You like, well, I want to kiss too, you know. So you start going around and banging a box on your head. That's what a narc does. They try to, like, they don't know why you do that, why you do the box on the head, but they got to fit in, and they got to kind of do it anyways to kind of fit in, you know. Like, I want to be able to kiss other ones too. And so that's kind of, it's just an act for them. It's not a deep level connection. They're connected to themselves. Their wires go out and then they go right back to themselves. Like one of those plugs. You ever plugged an extension cord back into itself? You know? Yeah. I mean, I remember putting a Christmas tree up once, you know, we had this extension cord, you know, and it's like, there was like a bunch of them. And I remember taking the plug and plugging it back into itself, and we're like, why isn't it lighting up? Well, it was plugged back into itself. Well, a narcissist can magically plug it back into itself, but it's not the same, right? There's no power. When we plug into like other people, we have that energy that's exchanged, you know. They just plug back into themselves and make up like hey, let's pretend the Christmas tree lit up, all right? You know, hey, you know, I plugged it in, you know, and it didn't. But they make it like it did. Look, my whole life is lighting up. Look at all this stuff. No, it isn't. But I'm going to convince you it did. Or am I going to highlight the difference between a bully and a narcissist? A bully and a narcissist. Well, I would say all narcissists are bullies. Bullies want to get their own way. And there's covert narcs and there's overt narcs. The covert ones kind of do it under the radar. They're kind of hidden. So they don't really have that bully thing where they're out in front of you just going, hey man, you need to do what I say, you know. The overt ones do. Now a bully just in general is, so getting back to your question, I would say an overt narcissist is a bully. Okay, they're always a bully. And bullies, not all bullies are narcissists. Bullies are just, it can be just something that a child goes through, they develop. You know, somebody could be a bully at work in a particular area, like in their job, they could just be a bully about stuff, but maybe in their family life, they're actually pretty normal. So, but usually if somebody's a bully here, then got some issues over here, right? They might not be full-blown narcissists, but remember, the narcissist is actually on a continuum. There's people who are full-blown NPD, and there's people who have some issues, right? And there's a lot of people that fall on that continuum way in between. They could fall here, 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 here. So I would say just a plain bully is going to fall more here. It's problematic behavior, but a full-blown is going to be over here. And this screen's opposite. I don't know how you see it, but I hope that kind of answers the question. But that's what I've read. Now remember, I'm not trained on any of this. I've trained myself through YouTube and my experience and trying to, put a mental map together, if you will, of what I've learned. Put together my truth. And this is just my truth, right? Your truth is going to be different from mine. But I think if I explain things a little bit, it's going to help you maybe put some things in your photo album that make sense. I don't understand why, here's a question. I don't understand where they take all the energy that you need for grooming all the supplies they have. Let me see. I mean, for example, was on so many dating and sex communities. It takes much time and energy, I guess. I couldn't have enough energy. Superficial online relationships. Well, see, the thing to them, a superficial online relationship, take out the word superficial and you have a normal relationship that a narc has. Everything with them is, every relationship with them is superficial. So they don't have a connection with anybody. People, see, they use people. Everybody around them is being used by them. If you're in a relationship with one, you could call it that, but it's not really a relationship. It's more of of usury. You are there for a reason just for them. They don't really care about you. They don't really think about you. They don't have any empathy for you. So you're there for them. So think of how connected they are. Once they find something better, like I have my iPhone 5, and then once the iPhone 6 came out and I saw how fast it was and everything, I got rid of the iPhone 5. I love my iPhone 5, don't get me wrong. I loved her, she was great to me. But my iPhone 6, she's better, okay? Because she does more stuff for me. She's got more storage, got a better camera. I mean, so that's my supply, right? But that's okay because it's not a human being, okay? It's actually something, for me, it's beneficial to me, the iPhone. I love my iPhone. So here's the thing. If you treat people that way, that could be a problem, right? You're never going to have that deep relationship. But it's not in them. It's not part of their DNA, okay? They've gave that up a long time ago. And so it's easy for them to go from one relationship to the other when there's no roots, when there's no connection. Okay, it's all about them. Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all the lies and manipulation, and it's the iceberg thing, right? Here's the iceberg. There's a tip of the iceberg that's above the water, right? Here's the water line. If you found one lie, there's probably 10 more behind it that you didn't find. Yeah, if there's one person they cheated with, there's probably 10 more you don't know about. Okay. And they have ways. Remember, they're experts at dealing with lies because it's easy to lie when you know there's no consequences, when you know you can talk your way out of it. So you spend all those 20 years or whatever, however old you are as a narcissist, you're spending all those years perfecting the way of lying, perfecting the techniques, perfecting the misdirection, perfecting throwing it back on you. It's all your fault. You're perfecting that. And the older you get, what happens to a narc when they get old? I've seen this, I've read about it. They are the loneliest people because by that time when they're 60 or 70, people have kind of figured out their bullshit, When you're 60 or 70, you've kind of been around the block, you've seen life, and, you can spot those people a mile away, right? They're at the senior homes, they're all kind of alone, and, the workers there are like, yeah, Mrs. Smith wants us to, polish her apples again or something, It's just, I want my apples polished, so because what happens is when they get older, all those things that they relied on, the vanity, like I'm sexy or I'm rich or whatever, it doesn't apply. It just doesn't mean anything. What means things when they're older, when people are older in general, and the narcs kind of get caught off guard with this, is that grandkids and kids. Well, a lot of their kids don't want to be around them. Once they move out of the house, they're done with mom. And of course they don't want their grandkids influenced by these horrid people. So the narcissists are lonely, where everyone else around the the nursing home tables, the old folks homes or whatever, they're talking about, oh, my grandkid, their grandkids come to see him, and they go out, oh, I was out lunch with my grandkids. That's a big deal in those communities, because remember, they thrive on other people being around them. That's what keeps them going. It's the illusion. They have to make sure that you think of them in this certain way. Well, if their kids aren't coming to see him, their grandkids aren't coming to see him, they've gone no contact, they've got to call you up on the phone. If you're their daughter, right, they got to call you up on the phone and say something really mean to get your attention. They got to engage you, okay? So that's the worst thing you can do to a narc, is to disengage with them, go no contact. Because if they call you up and they're trying to pick a fight or something, at least they'll have something to go to their friends and talk about. Yeah, I talked to my daughter yesterday, and yeah, she's doing okay, even though she's not telling the whole story, that she had an argument with her daughter because she said some mean things about her daughter, and her daughter's like, Mom, why are you saying those mean things about me? I want to go no contact with you, blah, blah, blah. Well, she can go to her table the next day and say, I talked to my daughter yesterday. Yeah, I miss her. Yeah. So have you talked to your daughter lately, June? Or so that's what they are. They're so lonely as old people, So don't think that you're better off not being with these people. You don't want to grow old with these people. You'll grow older faster with these people. You'll have health issues sooner with these people. All right. Well, the bad part is they're not crazy. They're just mean and evil. That's debatable. Because, yeah, I mean, they know what they're doing for the most part, but that's all they got. They only got one trick, and that's to manipulate and deceive and whatever. It never falls on the side of good, but they really don't care as long as they get what they want. But crazy, I think they're crazy because they believe their own lies. That just to me is it's unfathomable to me, because they believe their lies so much that they can get other people around them that don't know them that well to believe the lies with them. That's part of the illusion. So think about this. This happened to me, right? If you've disengaged with one, she discarded me. Okay, that's fine. I'm glad it happened now. At the time, I was like, oh, what's going on? But think about this. So this person is not in your life anymore, and you know a lot about that narc, right? You know all her secrets. You know what her weaknesses are, which I never talked about. I still haven't talked about her weaknesses. Like, she was always conscious of her weight or whatever, and I knew what her weight was. We would track her weight and stuff, and she didn't want to tell me first, and I say, well, we're doing this together. We lost weight together. So, but anyways, so we know so much about them that when they discard us, they have to discredit us, because if we say anything about them, they have to make sure that we, the source, they have to convince everyone else that we're the ones full of lies and we're jaded and we're not going to say the truth and all that. Because if we say something about them, they want to make sure it comes out as, well, they're not telling the truth, I am. They want to make it like they're the ones telling the truth. So they have to smear us. That's why the smear campaigns are there. That's to neutralize the upset target, right? Or if you've gone no contact with them, they have to smear you. So that's dangerous right there. But then any little piece, like if you text the narc, they text you, right? Hey, how's it going? You just had this major fight with him. You moved out of the house, right? Hey, how's it going? I'm like, what do you want? Well, I was just thinking about, what we could do for the kids for their college. Okay. Like, we're not divorced yet or whatever. Well, I'm willing to put in some money. How much are you willing to put in for their college? Well, I don't know. I mean, the divorce isn't over yet, and that's So now they got that material right. He doesn't want to put He doesn't want to put anything for the kids. He doesn't love the kids. Hey, all my friends, I'm the narc. My husband, who I'm going to divorce, he doesn't love the kids. I do, and I'm trying to set up something for the kids for their college, and he doesn't want to do anything. And it's just like, that's how it works, right? And of course, and that's the thing. You can't defend yourself with these. So the best thing to do, I used to defend myself. I used to say, wait a second, hey, I don't know what she's saying, but I do have plans for the kids for college, but the divorce is happening right now, and I don't know, she's trying to control it, and I'm not wanting to give her any money right now because I don't trust her, and just all these things, but they have to discredit us. And so once anyways, getting back to that, I gave up defending myself. It was just pointless. Why defend myself when she's just going to take that? She'll take that new information. He said that. Okay. Then she'll like wrap that up, put a nice little bow on it, throw that out there as a lie. But they get so good at lying that you don't know it's a lie if you're around them. And even when you're with them, you don't know, because they're so good at it, because they try to keep, 2.0. They try to keep one step ahead of you and their audience. They know their audience real well. They know the weaknesses of their audience. They know the strengths and weaknesses, because remember, the narcs, they remember all the good, they remember more of the bad stuff about you than the good stuff. They have a Rolodex in their head of all the things you did wrong. Why? Because they want to know what they can throw out there to manipulate you, to put you in fear, shame, guilt, whatever, something that they can use to control you. So they have this about you. They have it about all their friends, and they can drop hints. Well, I'd hate for that to happen, that kind of stuff. My ex is 64 with a 38-year-old for 3 years, active and still has it going on, and nobody can see through his charming BS. Well, how do you know that? You don't necessarily know that. So here's the thing: that 38-year-old might be using him. Okay, the guy's this old and the girl's this old. She's using her body, and she thinks she's getting one on him by. You just don't know. Let them have their fun. Okay. Whatever. Let them have their thing. It doesn't. Don't concern yourself with it. Trust me. It's not worth it, because, So I see that all the time. Because obviously, if he's an older guy and he's got this young girl with him, it makes him look good, right? And if she's like if that's her sugar daddy and he's buying her stuff, that makes her look good. So they're using each other. So maybe they're compatible, Maybe she's a narc too. And the thing is, we want to spread the word to the next person. We almost want to ruin it for them. They screwed me bad, so I think you should be aware of it, And my computer's going away here. And so after a while, it just kind of goes away. You're just like, oh my God, this person's got such a messed up life. I don't even want to think about that person. I don't want to have anything to do with that person. Really. Look at me. I don't care what she does. It's none of my business. I don't really care. I really don't. And she texted me this morning. Oh my God. It was so I saw it and I was like, uh-oh. Because I get my text messages. I get a notification. I don't see the whole text. I actually got to go into the thing, press this, and it pulls up the message. So I was like, oh, such a good day today too, So I go into my phone and I'm like, I press it, and then it's this big long one, right? So that's the first thing I see is I'm like, oh boy. And it was something. First of all, there was a misquote about my. I can't believe you're telling our daughter blah 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 this, which wasn't true. But that's another way to draw me in to say, for me to correct it. No, that's not what happened. Yeah, I don't ignore it. I just ignore it now, because my worst fear was that she was gonna say this, and if I just let it go, it would be in stone, it would happen. And that's kind of what she does. So she used to throw something out there, and if I didn't defend it, she'd say, well, see, you didn't correct this. This is what happened, right? You didn't tell me otherwise. And so for a while I was playing into that game, and then she would start an argument. It would be back and forth, back and forth. Well, lately she's done it, and I don't react. I don't do anything. In fact, I blocked it today. I was like, well, I don't have the kids right now. I don't need to be in contact with them. And the kids will call me. They both have their own cell phones. So It's just better that way, right? Now, if I have the kids over, I have to keep my phone on in case she needs to call them, whatever. But again, they're older, they have their own phones. But it's just a good way to do it. So anyways, so it's just like, so it was like, you should be embarrassed. I'm disappointed in you. I'm like, I didn't ask if you were disappointed. It's like she's still living back 3 years ago when discard and everything happened. See, that's one thing is what we can do is we can grow. They never grow. They don't grow. They only get better at lying and manipulating and learning from their mistakes like the Terminator does. So the next guy that she gets, she's going to know all about, like, she's probably going to latch onto him like, I don't know. I can't think of how but she's going to like love bomb the crap out of that guy and make sure he doesn't go anywhere because she's realizing, I don't know, I'm not in her head, that it's not the way she predicted it was going to be. Like the guy she was like cheating with, he didn't leave his wife. Go figure, you know. I think he might have saw like, holy crap, she's crazy. So they are crazy. I think they're crazy because they believe their own lies. Getting back to what I was saying about earlier about the smear. Once they smear you, you know, once they're smearing you, you're and then they talk to their other friends, they will make up stuff. They will take that little piece of information, that little breadcrumb, and they'll blow it up into a big ball of a lie. They're good at that. That's what they do. Misdirection. Look over here, bam, you know, bam. So, okay, let me put my glasses on. My soon-to-be ex told me he had cancer when I got a report. He'd gone in for some pre-op. Yeah. They lie to us. They will milk any situation they can for what they can get out of it, right? I'm in the hospital. What? You call I'm in the hospital right now. Thanks. Well, you're in the hospital for a penile implant, and, you know. That part you don't know, so they want to get the pity thing from you. They want to get them, oh, I'm the victim, I'm so, you know, whatever. But the doctor could say something like, well, we have to test it, you may have cancer, and then they'll take the cancer word, and then they'll wait for you to, like, maybe you're like mad at them, so you'll say something, and hopefully you're no contact, but I'm talking about maybe you've experienced this where you say something to them like, well, you know, I just don't think we should be together anymore, and say, well, fine, you know, I have cancer, and you just don't care, you know. Well, that's not true. There was a test on the cancer, but, you know, little piece of information, big ball of a lie. That's what they do. Narcs Anonymous, Sex Addicts Anonymous. My narc mom ruined my father. I'm not sure how many lives. And all she's ruined, she almost ruined mine. No doubt she's still trying to. There's a lot she's done. I'm speaking up more about it. Good for you. And have been for the past 12 years. It's my word against hers. No one believed me at first. Okay, here's the thing. Reframe this. The people that are around your mom, unless they're like really good friends, they're probably have their own dysfunctions. They're probably a little bit narcissistic themselves. And there's really maybe a handful of people. The other people, you think it's 50 people around her. And I'm telling you this because this is kind of how I had to reframe things. All these people you think that are like mad against you or you know, whatever, it's just 2 or 3 people. And those people you don't want to be friends with anyways. Like great grandpa Joe Jack, or, you know, your cousin Tony. He can see right through, oh yeah, your mom was a bitch, man. I hated your mom. Well, when you're in no contact with her and the rest of the family, you think, you think, oh well, Tony's in on it too. He's like mad at me too, and everybody hates me. And it's not the case. The narcissist wants you to think that so that you come back to them and they can divvy up the information. Well, you know, Tony said he missed you and he was wondering where you're at. You know, no. Tony just said, hey, where's Shelly? Oh, hey, there's some pizza here. You know, and they just take the little bit of information and they want to be, see, they love having that control over that information. Yeah, they like that. Well, I heard so-and-so is doing this. The gossip machine, right? They love gossip. They love it. They never grow up from their emotional state. They're stuck. It's called arrested development. Emotionally, they are arrested at a developmentally young age. But they're in adult bodies, and they know how to talk like an adult, and they know how to make words. They know how to redefine words. Love. What's love? Their definition of love is not the same as your definition of love. There's a video by BA Recovery about that. It's a really good video. I would watch that. It's about words and how they redefine words. So pity. His parents came over and started a huge fight. He was the hero of. Only his parents didn't even live in the same state. I found out later. Lies, lies, lies. So you know how they use the victim to gain power. It doesn't make sense at first. You hear like, how can they be a victim and be in power? Well, what a narc does when they feel like they're losing like control, they'll play victim. And yeah, God hurt me. And so they get all these people, like they suck all these people in to feel sorry for the narc. These people feel sorry for the narc, then they turn away from you, the one who's really the victim. And then they get their power. They get back up on top. They sense that. And it's fake. It's fake victimhood, but they know that. But it's fake, but they believe it, right? They believe their own lies. So they believe they're really the victim. Well, Shelley's get all the attention. I just can't. And they'll say just the right things. They won't say more than they need to. Now they talk a lot, right? They have to talk. They're always talking. What are you saying? Blah, 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 blah. They're always talking, right? You know why they're talking? They want to make sure that you're on script. They have this illusion. They have this big play, and you're part of their play. And you have your role. They're the leading star. In fact, they're the director. They're calling all the shots. They're the main character. They get all the attention on them. They're the band leader. They are it. You're just a little part in their play. And you got to be on script. So they got to make sure they talk to you. Okay, you know how to say your lines, right? You need to say this. You need to say this, blah, blah, blah. You need to say, you need to like treat me like I'm an important person. So, so they're going to manipulate you into treating them like they're the important person that they believe they are. Excuse me, what did you say? Would you address me a proper way? Just all this little stuff like that. They're so grandiose and so into themselves. So just remember, if you're around a narc, it's not a relationship. They're here and you're here. You are a part in their play. It's called an illusion. It's called a play. They like to manipulate. They like to change the scenery around. And you're going, what happened to the scenery? Oh, I just changed it. Because I can. Because I'm like God. So. They love empaths, but codependents are the holy grail in long term. Yeah, most in this group are empaths, or codependents. Yes. Yes. And we were taught to please other people. That's how I was when I was brought up. It was, I always put myself second. My parents weren't always emotionally there. There's some, whatever. And so I would try to figure out what they wanted, and okay, I'll do that for you. And so that was my thing, is I never really had my own self. It was always, I would ask myself, am I happy now? Am I happy? Okay, you're happy, then that means I'm happy. Okay. I was perfect. Look, she got 20 years out of me. I'm a good codependent. Yeah, if I can say so myself, I guess that's not something to really brag about, but that's what I was. Now I changed because I can change, and you can change too if you're watching this, because chances are you're a lot like me. Maybe not the best hair like me, or the best glasses like me, or the best baby picture like me on my Facebook profile. Yeah. Okay. All right. Enough about you. Let's talk about me. No, just kidding. Okay. Empaths can be healthy. empaths can be healthy when they have boundaries. Now, y'all know what boundaries are, right? Boundaries are things that you need to go by, because what happens is we want to please people so much that we ignore our own boundaries, right? Or we don't even take the time to set our boundaries up. Well, boundaries are when somebody, and that's the thing too, like, you know, well, what if I set up things that are too strict and I don't find anybody? Well, that's what happens at first, I think, for a lot of people when they say, I'm going to set some boundaries up. If somebody's ever cheated, I'm not going to date them. If somebody's ever, lied, I'm not going to date them either. Well, you can't be like that because, well, if you're my age, okay, people are gonna have baggage, okay? So you gotta like give people a little bit of wiggle room, right? So, but you can find out what their values are, and ahead of time, if you establish it and you see they're congruent and there's no cognitive dissonance, in other words, they're not saying one thing and doing another, then I think you can kind of figure out. Well, first of all, you would know what your boundaries are, okay? You're not gonna set your boundaries based on what other people do, okay? That's probably not a good example I was going for, but that's not where I was going. But anyways, yeah, you want to like take the time, get away from this narcissistic relationship, and figure out where's the pain. What's the pain? The pain is there to tell you to do something different, right? So start doing something different. Oh, the pain goes away. Oh, okay, wow, I can see it this way. Okay, wow, there's hope. Oh my gosh, I can do this. Okay, I just gotta like just be more, if I start getting into a pattern, if I start seeing red flags, Dana's red flags is brilliant. Her red flag series or videos on YouTube. If I start seeing a pattern of this person doing this, this is my boundary. Now, every one of us are going to have different boundaries. Some of you may have boundaries about tattoos. I don't want to date anyone that has a tattoo bigger than this big, or I don't want to date anyone that has a tattoo on their face. That's a very easy, visible boundary, right? It's pretty, most of the things, unfortunately, are kind of hidden, like, because a narcissist will tell you one thing, they'll actually have another plan, they have two agendas going on, so you don't always see that. So that's the only thing and so these boundaries, these deal breakers are in place for you to uphold them so that the minute that happens, you don't question your own boundaries. You don't go, well, they said this, but I think they meant this, and it's confusion. Look, one of the boundaries can be if you're confused around them or you feel like crap around them, you have to listen to your gut. Once you set the boundaries up, you want to listen to your gut around these people. If you don't feel good around this person, there's a chance. If you've got confusion going on, that means usually 100% of the time, usually 90% of the time, there is some manipulation going on. Okay, and if there's manipulation going on, then why is there manipulation? Because there's usually a dual agenda. There's the agenda that they're presenting to you, and then there's the hidden one. That's not good. That's not good. Now, when you first date somebody, you don't share everything, right? That's one of the things that we do too. Is good codependence. Is we're open. We're like an open book. Well, I wouldn't do that because I'm right here. You know me. I'm just Well, you don't have to be an open book. In fact, you want to almost have a little bit of, you want to keep things a little bit close to the vest, because if they're a narcissist, if they're exploiting your weaknesses and you expose them, here I am, take me. If you're exposing yourself like that, the narcissist will take advantage of that. And a healthy person will go, wow, that's, they're a little bit too much into me. Like, they're like going like this to me, like, okay, you can do whatever you want with me. Why would you say that about yourself? Think about that. Because you want somebody so bad. Like okay, why do you want somebody so bad? Why do you need to be in a relationship with somebody? Those are the questions I ask myself. Why do I need to be with somebody so bad? And the answer I found out was I don't. In fact, the best way to do things is to get a relationship with yourself where you're good with yourself. This is your number one person. You're in love with yourself so much that you really don't need anybody. And if somebody happens to come along, great, but you don't need that person, right? You only want people that can enhance you, that can make things a little bit better. But if things are already good, there's no reason to wait for a call or do all this. I don't know. That's an area that I'm not really good at talking about right now because I mean, I'm good at like, but I'm talking about like going out with somebody and all that. I'm still not there yet. I'm 20 years recovering from this thing, so I've had 20. I'm not going to take another 20 years. Hi, this is Josh. This is Facebook Live 3D, and I'm a hologram in your place, and I still haven't dated yet. I'm still waiting my about. No, I'm not going to wait that long, and I hope you don't either. Okay. All right. Mine initially told people I'm crazy. Now he's telling people that it was an amicable split and that we're friends. Yeah. They lie. Their truth is whatever somebody will buy. You know? It's like a marketplace for them. Would you buy this lie? No. Would you buy this lie? No. Would you buy this lie? Yes. Okay, then that's the truth. This is the truth. That's how they work. It's like whatever you buy, whatever lie you buy, that's the truth. I think that's a meme right there. I think I'm going to make that into a meme. Empathy are loving and kind, also vulnerable. Empathy is good. Opposites attract. Opposite of an empath is a narc. Maybe a codependent more so than an empath. But yeah, I mean, I think empath can be, I've heard it defined different ways, but I think it is like almost exactly like a codependent. Copy other people's sentences so they don't slip up. Yeah, that's the strangest thing when they say something back to you. And the thing is, when you don't know this is even going on, they will say something back to you and you'll be like, wow, this person really gets me. And you don't realize that they're just repeating, they're like a parrot, you know? Pretty eyes, pretty eyes. Wow, he said I got pretty eyes, you know? They're always talking. Blah, 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 blah. Now, when they're covert, see, that's the thing. Mine would be around the house, in private, but out and about with people, especially in a crowd. Oh, wow, the lights just went on. Out in a crowd, she would be silent. She would be taking in. She would be calculating. She'd turn to this person, she'd act one way, talk about her party days. Hey, yeah, I missed the party. Go over here. I'm a PTA mom. I'm over here. Oh, I was saved at the Church of Nazarene. And it's just like, it was like, change the face. Okay, I'm this way. I mean, it was like it was weird. And there's this narcissistic delay. I think I coined this term, the narcissistic delay. And that's the delay that normal people don't have. When you ask a normal person a question and they ponder it, they go, you know, actually, you asked me when we moved here. We moved here about 6 years ago. We really like it. You know, we like the schools and all that. You ask a narc the same thing, and they're like, why is this person asking me this? What can I get out of this? Where should I say that I lived? What should I talk about? Oh, I've lived all over the area. Well, that's not what I asked. I asked if you lived here 6 years ago. Oh, I lived all over the area. What about you? What made you move here? You know, they'll just turn it right back around to you because they're like calculating. They don't know you. So how are you going to fit into their play? What script are they going to give you? What part are they going to give you? Do you even have a part in their play? Oh, they got to cut you out of that play. So listen, man, I'll talk to you later. I got to run. You know. Yeah, we think they're clever, but remember, this is how they interact with everybody. This is their thing. This is what they do. This is their life. They don't have a choice. They don't say, I'm going to be clever today. They think, I'm going to survive today, and I'm going to get as much supply as I can. I'm going to make myself as happy as I can. I don't have any control. I don't have any higher emotions, so I just like do whatever I feel like doing. But I got to cover it up to make it look like I'm a good person, because I got to fit in. Because if I look like I'm a bad person, I won't get any of my supply. So it's not good or bad thing with me. It's just like I want what I want when I want it. And darn it, I'm going to get it. And if you don't want to get to me, I'm going to rage against you. I'm going to rage against you. It's going to be all your fault. And I've got all the tricks and tools in the bag to say it's your fault. Well, you know, you always did this. I can recall things from 10 years ago because you did this and because you did that. I can justify it in my head. And as I'm saying it to you, I'm justifying it. I'm making it believable because I believe my own stuff. So it's your fault all along. And they will fight to the death on that stuff. Have you ever noticed that? Like you're in a bike race with them. Well, actually, I kind of went ahead. You're just riding your bike on a Sunday afternoon. Like, hey, let's go bike riding. That sounds like fun. And then, you know, you go around a corner and they're like, hey, I'll race you to the next corner. And you're like, well, you're already ahead of me, you know. Like, go, go, go. You know, I beat you. You know, you were so slow. What are you, slacker? It's like, okay, this is supposed to be a relaxing Sunday afternoon. Besides, we're on a tandem. Huh? No, I'm just kidding. But that's kind of, they're always trying to get ahead of you. It's always competition. I'm the winner and you're the loser. That's how it is with them, right? My ex could never be direct with me. He would just go on, and when I asked him a question, it drove me nuts. They don't know. Because if they say yes or no, it locks them into place. They're committed to that answer. It's harder to get out of a lie when you've actually said a yes or no. You've answered yes or no to something. Best way for them is to obscure it. Never answer it directly. Always answer a question indirectly. Always try to, divert. If they won't divert from attention to that question, you just basically play it up. And then you start to raise your, why are you so adamant on asking me that question? You've asked me that question like 3 times. What is your deal? You know, they've got all these. Look, I don't know 10% of the tricks and the tools that they have in their box. I'm just giving you the ones that are like I've thought about the last 2 years. They've thought about these for 30 years, okay? And I'm giving you 2 years of studying this like intensely. And I'm not even a narc, right? And I'm trying to pretend I'm a narc and think about how they do this. So I don't have nearly the bag of tricks, but you can only imagine. That's why I'm no match for my ex on the field. No match at all. See, that's the thing. We go no contact because then we're not on the same field with them. If we're on the same field with them, then we play ball with them. And they have the game rigged. They've got the bases all screwed up. They got it to where, you know, when you have to run they do things to the course or to the baseball field where all of a sudden it rises 30 feet. You have to run to first base, but you have to go like this over, you know, it's all rigged. I'm losing people here. So guys, yeah, this has been a long conversation here. I've really enjoyed this. So I'm probably going to leave here in about a minute and a half or 2 minutes. If there's any burning desires here, want to know everything about them so there's no surprises. The key is to ask them first so they don't mirror me. Oh yeah, that's true. Sure, that's a good point. So if you're on a date with one, let them do the talking. They love to talk. But I think when they first meet you, they kind of want to figure you out because they want to tell you what's going to go on. So anyways, all right, guys, I'm going to do my little Josh TV intro, even though this is the end of the show. I've got a show. Let's see here. Let's go. So. Okay, guys. All right, it's been a good show. Really big show for you tonight. Enjoy your evening. I'm gonna click this. Okay. So I'm gonna do one last thing here. Okay, let's do this here. I'm gonna do one last thing. I want you guys to see Josh TV one for the last time, and then I'm gonna sign off here. Here goes.